Listening to your goals and dreams is our top priority at West Tennessee Bank. Benefit from our more than 100 years of experience and visit our Henderson branch today. West Tennessee Bank, focused on you. West Tennessee Bank is a division of Decatur County Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, thank everyone for being here again. I'd just like to make a reminder that for our progression and to make sure things is right, we need to be sure you're recognized for your motion and your second, and then state your name. Saying that, I would like to ask for approval for the July meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. John Garner.
I move to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Second. Jerry Henderson. Second.
Thank you. We have a second, Mr. Jerry Henderson. All in favor of the minutes for the July meeting, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Minutes are approved. Yes, sir.
At our last committee meeting at Solid Waste, I failed to follow proper procedure and I was Amber and I apologize. So Amber, I apologize for that.
Thank you. Next, I need to turn over the meeting for the nomination for the chairman to Pro Tem Barry Smith.
All right, the chair is accepting nominations for chairman.
I, Robert Clayton, nominate Larry David. You say roll or chairman?
Chairman.
I'm sorry, I'll withdraw. I nominate Barry Whitaker.
The other mayor, there you go.
Here we go. I'll second the motion.
We have 2 seconds. The chair.
Nobody gonna do it.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, no further candidates, I move the nomination cease and Barry Hudson be elected by acclamation.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Chairman.
Well, I do appreciate y'all's confidence, and I will do my best to serve and do the best I can for the people. Next on the agenda, I'd like to open up nominations for the chairman pro tem.
Chairman, I already like to nominate Barry Smith.
We have a nomination for Barry Smith.
I second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a second. Is there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, there no other nominations, I move the nomination cease and he be elected by acclamation.
We have ceased. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have Mr. Barry Smith, Chairman pro tem.
Thank y'all for your comments.
Next, we have a package for the standing committees. We just had a few that contacted me and said that they would like to be on some of our committees. So we have a new list. I know y'all had a list prior, but today we have a couple of new ones that added. If you've had time to look over that.
Mr. Chairman, there is one change that the 911 board we would like to add. We would like to ask is Glenn Bryant from the 911 board was the former fire chief. He is retired.
Yes, sir.
Greg Lifter is the new fire chief. The 911 board is requesting that Greg Lifter be replaced with Glenn Bryant from the 911 board.
Okay, everyone here that we have a request to change the 911 board and Glenn Bryan to come off and Greg Lickford to go in on his place.
And I'll make a motion to approve the standing committees.
And we have a motion to approve the standing committee by Commissioner Tim Crowe.
We do have one change also on the planning commission.
Yes.
Actually, Mr. Linda Johnson will not serve in the end of the place. It still says Melinda on here, so man, really.
What is that?
Melinda Johnston, Mayor Dave, Planning Commission. And also, we have two new ones that stated they would like to be, they're interested. We all know that Mr. Cothran died, and he was on our planning commission. And we have another one on there that asked to be removed because of a lot of interest in other things. And so we have two new ones. We have Donna Butler, and we also have Monty McNeil there to be on our planning commission committee. So that should be all the changes, except on the library board, there is Rosemary McDaniel. McKnight, I'm sorry. Ms. McKnight.
So we got a motion.
I'll give a motion to.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Lewis. Any more discussion about the standing committees? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed to committees? Next on the agenda, we have approval of budget amendments. We'd like to start with the school if you're ready. Superintendent Gilson.
Good evening. I've got extra copies if anybody doesn't have a copy. The first page is just dealing with general purpose budget adjustments. One in particular is that we had a significant increase in our budget for textbooks. There was new dollars spent to provide textbooks in the English language arts category, and we had to purchase some additional textbooks because of our student counts, different than what we had initially ordered. The following pages are all our federal budgets. And again, each year for all these federal budgets, we have a carryover fund of monies that were budgeted for the year previous to know how much is going to carry over. We're at the discretion of the feds. So we always prepare for adjustments, not sure what the dollar amount would be, but that's the purpose of the budget amendments that follow from page 2 to the end.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the superintendent's budget statement.
We have
Chairman, I second the motion.
a motion to approve the budget by Mr. Larry Blackstock and a second by Mr. Jerry Henderson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I didn't ask for discussion, but I think that if anyone wants to discuss that, I'm sorry. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioner.
Next, we have Mr. Jerry King with the Highway Department.
Where I have this amendments, one right out both roads. Okay, you want it now?
Yes, we could go ahead and do that now at this time.
This both roads again, you want to piece the road. Back in the bill. They come the best road, I think, we don't have to get this correct first. Back where we have to take it on the cars. I recommend you on
This is where Jeffrey Hill is coming.
No, well, it's
Blue Ride.
the boys on it. If these turn right, Jack Henderson, I think, Mike Anderson, John Sweeney, I think, is probably a real good dog.
Approximately how long is it?
600 and something. One 645, that was 543.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we accept these roads, that recommendation road for
Okay, we have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
Mr. Montana, second. Tim Crow made the motion. To approve these two roads to add to our county road list. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next, we have Mr. Lance.
Lance is, he had, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's what he's bed.
If you don't mind now, we would like to vary off the agenda just a little bit because the next few topics will be into that. Next, Miss Savannah Gilbert is sorry that she couldn't be here for the library for the report, but she gives stuff that we put in the packet, and it tells about all the upcoming library times, and they had to go back to their level 3, but now they're interested in proceeding back. She also just wanted to be sure that we did approve her board. When we did say she's sorry that she couldn't be here, but she had things that had been planned for months. So we'll just continue on. Next, we have the update on the ambulance facility, which the ambulance facility has got the certificate of occupancy from the fire marshal and from the building inspector. They're working on a punch list, which they have been approved to let them occupy the building, but they need 2 weeks for AT&T to do their work, to get all their communications hooked up, and they have plans to occupy the building October the 1st. So if y'all would, y'all go by and look at it, and they've really done good. They still got a couple of things they're going to work on, but they're promised that they will get them finished before they move in. Does anyone have anything to say that might have went by and looked at that and we hadn't? Yes, sir.
What took so long to deal with this outside? I mean, what took so long?
Well, they run into a lot of obstacles. I know, in my opinion, they built a good building, but now wasn't real swoosh about it, I guess, but it is a good building, and they've had it checked by all the inspectors and everything, and it's supposed to be well built.
On this, border, on that, north side, they ever complain that?
They got a specialist, he told me that is coming in to look at that tomorrow.
Well, if they don't get that clean, I want to make a motion right now that we withhold $25,000 from them. There's no reason what's going on down there at that building. You right there. I'll make that motion.
Right there.
We have a motion and a second to withhold $25,000 from their final draw until the brick and mortar is satisfactory on the north side of the building. Yes, sir.
I know it's in favor of that fire alarm there. What caused that?
I knew there was a fire alarm that went off down there, but I think they was checking the systems or something. I even was down there at the time that they responded to it, but it wasn't nothing that went off that was wrong, and everyone did respond. I don't know if sheriff or someone else, yes.
I just wanted to say, we hold retainage out on every payment we make. So we have retainage
Yes.
in the bank, and they will not get it if y'all not completely satisfied, but is that in addition to the retainage?
Yes, we do have retainage from each check.
5% of every check goes to the retainage.
if you want to withhold $25,000 extra, I mean, but that is a retainage.
Ridiculous what we do to that building down there, absolutely ridiculous. We signed a contract on that thing, end of April and, 19. Who'll be watching that thing, make sure it's not right, was that TLM or whoever?
Well, TLM come in and did the inspections at the end, and they did give them a punch list of stuff, which the fire marshal did inspections each week. I got a report from him every week, and matter of fact, TLM, the fire marshal, and Brent was here with the city to check to make sure all the codes. They did make them redo some things on the footing. They made them do the extra bracing for the rafters up in the attic. I can't remember, them was the two major things. The rest of it, all just because of the rain and the weather and the COVID, and I don't know. Yes.
Are we gonna use them on other county buildings? No, hope not. I'll vote against them. They get vote big, I probably use them.
We'll take bids on them, and we got the right to choose who we want. Yes, sir. We have a motion and a second to withhold $25,000 over and above the retainage. That's what you're asking now. We have a motion and a second, so we need a roll call vote since this is money. If you want to withhold $25,000 extra, vote yes, and if you don't, vote no. That'll be a roll call.
I'm not necessarily against that, but Mr. Hudson, we legally do have a contract with them.
I would have two concerns tonight. One is not on the agenda, and the other is there might be an issue with contract we need to look at first, but whatever that's worth.
Should we go on with the motion and second one vote since it's already brought to the commission?
You got it. What's your concern about this option not being on the agenda? Do you want to withdraw?
No. But I can make this motion that can make what any more business going around.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Are you withdrawing?
So what I do?
Do you want to withdraw it, or do you want us to put it in the other?
I don't want to go. I don't want a motion. I mean, we're not doing it now, and the meeting when it comes up to any other business.
We will just count this as other business, and I think we should just go ahead and go on.
Okay. You want a roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion was Jerry, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there. I thought we were doing away with it. All right, Jerry vote. And a second, was here second? Okay, Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock.
No.
Al McKinnon.
Yeah.
Andrea Holland.
No.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
No.
Russell Clayton.
Yeah.
Jerry Emerson.
Yeah.
Sandra Hires.
No.
Joseph Malero.
No.
Barry Smith.
No.
Tim Crow.
No.
Diane Jordan.
No.
Mike Alexander.
No.
John Welch.
No.
Todd Lewis.
No.
7 and 11. No's have it.
So we will not hold more than the retained, right, this small.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I put up something to get it up early right now. That'll be all right. No, it's, well,
Retains the
no, it doesn't have that. First, yes, planning commission.
Okay. That's, next on the agenda is what we're going to go next to.
Mr. Chairman, while you're on now, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna have to have some additional money to fund the furniture inside that building, or we got enough in the other building to move down and do that? Like beds and like that?
I believe they furnish.
Good, okay. So we're not gonna be out any additional, thank you.
Okay, so we're moving on down on the agenda, to the approved resolutions for the Chester County Regional Planning Commission.
Oh, we're on here, okay.
Yes, sir.
The reason I asked to bring that up, Mr. Tom Stehan with Southwest Development District is here, and we drive back to Dyersburg, and I know we might get into something that would be lengthy, so I would like to give him the opportunity to leave in a few minutes, if that's possible. What we have is the resolutions, the zoning resolution and the subdivision regulations that there was a public hearing on in July, and they passed with the planning commission, and they were forwarded to the county commission for approval. And since Mr. Stehan is here, and he's sort of a technical expert on that, and can answer any questions anybody has on those, I was hoping we'd do that while he was here. So I would like to ask for those two items to be approved. The planning commission, I don't know if it's a committee recommendation, becomes a motion.
Yes, it is a resolution that we have to approve through this, county commission. You want to explain the resolution?
Well, Tom, you did that?
In essence, we're asking the county commission to approve two items. Subdivision regulations, which in essence prescribe an orderly development of property. Anytime property is subdivided, if that property is under 5 acres, or if that property requires any type of road or public improvements, such as utilities, etc., then those items would come before the planning commission for approval. The zoning resolution does a number of things. First of all, it prescribes the land uses that are appropriate for each of the districts that we've enumerated. And we basically have the forestry, agriculture, and residential, FAR district. We have a commercial district. We have special impact districts. And those are the districts right now that we're focusing on. Again, those focus on uses, as well as some prescriptive conditions in terms of setbacks, etc. I think the important thing I need to point out is two things, two important things. First of all, I modeled these regulations and the subdivision regulations on Henderson's planning. As many of you know, Henderson has municipal zoning, and they also have extraterritorial zoning, so they can zone property and control property outside their city limits. Well, to avoid confusion, what I did was I modeled our regulations on those planning region regulations, so that when builders and developers go to develop property, that there's not an imaginary line that they have to keep in mind and say, wait a minute, I'm in the county, therefore I have to abide by these regulations. I step over here, I'm in the planning region for Henderson, I've got a different set of regulations. Both regulations mirror one another. The next important thing is we have not foreseen every possible situation. I think the last few months have kind of taught us that. These regulations are flexible, they're amenable. We can entertain changes by this county commission. We entertain changes from those planning commissioners that serve in voluntary capacity. We can also entertain changes by the public. So going forward, we are going to see some changes. So you will be seeing some amendments. I mean, probably more so this first couple of years than after that.
Okay?
Anyone have any questions on this before we pass?
Okay, who's going forward to it?
I'm sorry, I don't understand, kind of low there.
Who's going forward the regulations?
Of course, we don't know yet.
You're going to have to hire the person to enforce it.
Yeah, how is this going to affect the stuff that's already been done out of there? It's not.
Well, it will, yes, everything that's in the past, we're trying to control stuff from continuing happening in the future.
Well, the court already out of line.
Fortune's already on the line. Well, anything, nothing else can be done without following these regulations. And if any of that property that's already, doesn't comply, if it ever changes hands, it'll have to comply then. So,
If they make changes what they have now, will this regulation apply?
yes. Isn't that right, Tom?
As I understand it, yes, sir. Plus, we also have property maintenance codes that we can enforce in that area also. And those are on the books right now.
So that is a motion by the planning commission.
To accept those.
We have a motion and a second for the resolution for the planning commission. Is there any more discussion?
To accept, the idea to have a committee chairman. And Mark Allen. Okay, there you go.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I apologize for the interruption, but I was trying to, in case something as we go along, this may take more time, just ski in and go.
Next on the agenda, we have the fire department update, Chief Hall.
Good evening. Good evening. All right. I believe everybody's got a copy of what I'm going to go real quick. The 2019 AFG grant that we put in for back in January. Mr. Crowe, you asked me when I be here with them, I'd like to use. I told you that September 6th, actually 5th. So, you're forgetting. Yeah. We was awarded that grant for air packs, SCBA bottles, which are out of date in our department and beyond repair. They don't even make parts for them no more. I applied for this grant, being very competitive, in hopes to get it, and we wasn't awarded. The cost share is at 5%. We was awarded $235,000. Cost share is $11,780 from the county. It's 5%. Most of them are 10 and 15%. Since we was awarded the grant, out of the $2,500 grant writing fee, we get $1,500 of that back. So in all actuality, it cost us $1,000 to get this written. And then to approve that would be brought up here. All right, great organization, Southwest Electric Care Act, is very beneficial to whoever applies there. They really help our department out. As you can see, I've got awarded 2 grants from them so far. Thank you, Mr. Butler, for your input on them. Also, I've applied for the Garrison East Foundation grant for $48,544. That's starting our portable radio replacement. Our radios at this time are not FCC compliant. So to get us back into compliance with the FCC, I have to start generating this replacement. This is the only way I know to do it because it's going to be a big expense overall. That is zero cost to the county. The Firehouse Sub Grant, as you'll notice, it's for 10 sets of turnout gear, head to toe, boots, pants, coats, and helmet, and no mask, hood. I have to start this year because in the latter part of 21, our turnout gear will be out of date, according to NFP, and then it becomes a Liberty Mutual Insurance liability if anybody gets hurt. So I'm starting the process. Hopefully with this grant, I'll hear about this grant within the next month, whether we're awarded it or not. So hopefully I can start changing out the old with new. So I don't have all 50 sets coming due at one time. I can have them on a rotational basis. Next is a Southwest Care Act grant. It's been applied for the Jack Street Fire Department. The next one is another Southwest Care Act grant for the Hilltop Department. The next one, which is the same deal, for the Deanburg Fire Department. And then the next one is a CARE Act grant also applied for the sweet lips. And you'll notice there's a substantial difference because this is for a skid unit for our brush trucks. It's the 300-gallon tank, pump, hose, and the whole 9 yards. That's why there's a little bit of difference. I applied for a safer grant for $367,219. That is zero cost to the county. It costs $2,500 to write that grant. It's out of my budget. And if we're awarded that, hopefully by January, we'll get $1,500 of that grant writing feedback also. This is a 4-year grant. That $367,219 is paid out over 4 years. That's for another employee, and that pays for 40 new volunteer firefighters, all their training up to the firefighter 2 level, which don't mean a lot to a lot of you, but it means a lot to us and the insurance company. And it buys all their equipment, head to toe, pays for all their training, pays that one person's salary, insurance, retirement, everything for 4 years. At the end of that 4 years, or before the end of that 4 years, if this proves profitable to the department, I will reapply and keep that going on. It might shut down in 4 years. These are competitive grants. All right. Then the next grant I need approval on is to get the grant writing fee started. It's $2,500, and this is for next year's AFG grant, which we just got awarded. And this is where I was talking about the radios becoming expensive. This is going to be for $200,000 to $250,000. This grant, and it's going to complete the radio project. All new radios, we're back with FCC compliant stuff. So that's another thing. That grant right there, I need approval to go ahead and get the grant writing process started. this won't pay out or even be awarded until next year's budget. But we have to start the grant writing process by October. Because that's going to be another large.
Make a motion to approve the start writing grant.
Second. And this is a 5% grant also, just like the one we got over.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second by Alan McKinney, and a second by John Garner. This being a cost sharing grant, which is for 36 well-needed airbags, life-saving airbags for people fighting fire. We need a roll call. This is for money for the match.
Okay, that's for the 11,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I also, on the last item, I need
The
approval to get the grant writing process started.
This being for the first one for the cost share, it went for money. We need a roll call.
Okay.
This is for the first grant awarded of $235,000, which has a cost share to the county.
Ready? Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinney. Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler. Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Blake. Jerry Emerson. Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Valero.
Yes.
Barry Smith. Tim Crow. Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander. John Welch. Todd Lewis. 18-4.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, now we need approval for the writing of a grant for the Port Regular project, but no money is to be spent now, but will be in the future. So I need a motion and a second.
I move to approve. I move to second.
All right, we have a motion to approve, Jerry Lowe, and second from Mr. Larry Blackstock. Any questions on this grant while he's still available? He's saying the money, the cost share part of it won't be due until next year.
Next fiscal budget.
Next fiscal budget. So this being for future money, and we need to go ahead and make a roll call again, right?
There's a cost, and there is a cost of applying.
There is a cost of applying.
All right. Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinney. Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Blake. Jerry Emerson. Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Valero. Barry Smith. Tim Crow. Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander. John Welch. Todd Lewis. 18-4.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harper. Yes, sir. And all these grants are really great. It takes a lot of work. It's going to really help the county. But nothing has yet been done about reimbursing the volunteers that actually make the call. They get the training paid for. But we hadn't got any kind of a reimbursement plan for your people that come in and volunteer for the park.
I understand that wholeheartedly.
I hadn't forgot that. And hopefully we can come up with something to help.
They get one set of free tags, don't they? I mean, I know they have a lot, but they get one set of free tags.
Free tags and no wheel tags.
Yeah.
That's a benefit. I mean, if you look versus the paid on call type.
Well, just reimbursement for them at least coming in their fuel and whatever.
Right, I understand. We can work on that, work in progress.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the continuation of the solid waste convenience center fee and collection, which is now tabled by Commissioner Mike Alexander, and I believe in the last two meetings that all information has been given that is available at this time. So we need to, a motion.
I'd like a motion to
Mr. Mike Alexander makes the motion to our table, and Mr. Larry Blackstock seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next, since all the information is available, we need a motion to bring up for a convenience center fee.
Mr. Chairman, I got a motion to make for the solid waste. I know there's been a lot of discussion. I may not be fully aware of some of the things that have happened. I make a motion that we make the solid waste fee $8 a month for every household that produces garbage in Cherokee County.
Mr. Chairman, I second that.
Okay, we have a motion in a second.
Mr. Chairman, can we have some discussion on that? Before we vote. That was not the recommendation of the committee that was made.
Since we have a motion in a second, can we just go through this and then we'll continue our Chairman?
Can we discuss this now?
Yes.
Okay, on August 11th, we had our solid waste committee meeting. Tim Crow, Dan Moore, Johnny Garner, myself, there were 2 acts. And we discussed it for a pretty good while. Listened to the truck driver and some employees out there. And his biggest concern was safety of the truck driving back and forth along this city. They needed $420,000 above what they're getting now. We talked about $5 a month, which is $60 a year, which was just barely get over that amount, which was $474,000. So after much discussion, the committee agreed to bring before the rest of the commission the $6 a month fee for solid waste, which is $72 a year, which would bring in $568,800. That's what we agreed to present to the rest of the committee. So, that's what we agreed on.
Since we have a motion and a second on the floor, we'll go ahead with that, and then we'll go to the motion of the recommendation of the committee.
Mr. Jack, I have a couple of questions. You came up with an exact number there. How do we know that's the number?
Okay, the number that we came up with was 7,900 households that would be, that's a close number. That was a 911 board presented that number to us.
So that's the method for which we're going to determine who gets that, as opposed to
That's what
as opposed to having to hire somebody to go through all the tax rolls to.
That's why we came up with $568,800, 7,900 households.
Since we have a motion and a second, let's go with this and then come back to the committee. That would be the correct way to do it.
They need to vote on this one.
Yes.
This is for $8.
This is, Mr. Russell Slade made a motion for $8 per month. And we'll vote on that.
I just need to say, to answer Joe's question, those tax rolls will still have to be on the roof individually, one by one, and figure out what's on that property, if it's tax, if it's a fee, accessible property, that is just an estimate only.
So we're going to have to spend more money to hire somebody to enable us to take more money from the taxpayers.
Right.
Does that really make sense to anybody in this question?
They said there wasn't no way we could accurately, until they go through the tax roll to the parcels to get an accurate number. Because it would take a while. I don't know if it's good within a year.
I would suggest we look for an alternate way.
Sir?
I would suggest we look for an alternate way. That's what our job is.
Well,
We always get this mode of spending more money and spending more money and throwing more money in every situation we have.
well, let's go on and continue this, and, let's get the vote of this done with.
Johnny Garner.
No.
Jerry Love.
No.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
No.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
No.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Blake. Jerry Emerson.
No.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Malaro.
No?
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
No.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch. Todd Lewis.
No.
10 yes, 8 no. Motion carries.
Okay, this being a vote, it has to vote passed by 2/3 vote according to the state. So there would have to be 12 vote for it to pass.
So favor.
It would fail. That motion now being done with, would there like to be another one?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we go over what the committee agreed on that night at $6.
We have a motion to.
I'll second.
And a second for the $6 per month as recommended by the Solid Waste Committee. Take a vote on the $6 per month.
Mayor?
Roll call.
Mr. Mayor, I'm a citizen here in Chester County. My name is George Bull. Can everybody hear me? About this, collection money, $6 a month, $8 a month, or whatever, for the waste disposal. If we pay that out of our pockets, are y'all gonna have a garbage truck come around and picks up our waste and floods our property, or are we still gonna have to take it to the landfill ourselves?
Yes, sir. This is for the convenience of having a convenience center, and a station for to be able to carry your solid waste to, and also to carry your brush and your debris and your
Well,
other
if
stuff.
that's the case, then, if, I've still got to carry it out there, and we're not paying anything to carry it out there and dispose of it down,
Well, see,
I
that's,
can dispose of it on my own property. I can get a big barrel, put holes in it, burn stuff. I can do my own recycling, and I can take that money that I get from the recycle center down there in Selma, put it in my pocket. I don't want to get a big thing started, but every one of us in here is familiar with American history.
well, we done had town meetings on this, sir, and we done went to 2 other commission meetings, and it was all been explained, and what it was for, and how this money will be used. It will only be used for the solid waste, and it won't be used for anything else.
Okay,
That's what it is for.
that's fine, but how's that gonna work in the future? Is it gonna be like the wheel tax that got put here in Chester County whenever I was a kid? And everybody said that the wheel tax would never go up. Started out $5 a year.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. We started out $5. I ain't gonna argue with you over that, but it's a whole lot more than that now.
Sir, hey, this is for the,
Every time that something just came up, that the county needed money for,
board, and did an increase on the wheel tax over the years, each time we told the whole county, and as soon as they got that money, that the wheel tax would go back. Well, it never did go back. So now, if we're gonna pay $60 a year in order for us to come and bring our trash to y'all's facility, and then something comes up, how long is it gonna be before that price keeps going up and up and up? That's what I want to know. I'm just one person, but I'm probably speaking for the whole county, because ain't nobody else speaking up.
This has been explained, that all the commissioners understand that what we're voting on and the reason for the vote. We have a motion for $6 as recommended by the Solid Waste Committee, and we have a second. So we need to vote on this.
Johnny Garner?
Yes.
Jerry Lawler?
Yes.
Larry Blackstock?
No.
Al McKinnon?
No.
Andrew Holland? Jackie Butler?
Yes.
Ann Moore?
Yes.
Shirley Higgins?
Yes.
Russell Blake?
No.
Jerry Emerson?
Yes.
Sandra Hires?
Yes.
Joseph Malera?
No.
Barry Smith?
Yes.
Tim Crow?
Yes.
Diane Jordan?
No.
Mike Alexander?
No.
John Welch?
Yes.
Todd Lewis?
No.
Janet? No majority.
And no majority still. Do we have any more recommendations or any more motions on this, that $6 flat offer?
I want to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
If we don't vote this in for a fee, y'all gonna be without convenience center. Y'all gonna be without, so y'all just understand that. You're gonna be without.
This $6 will cover.
It didn't pass.
Yes,
Oh, it
this,
didn't pass, but it would cover.
yeah. This would mean we would have to be shutting down our solid waste and, things will have to be, the times will have to be deteriorated. Yes, sir, Mr. Daniels.
Or we could find money somewhere else.
There's a permanent solution. Yes, sir, Mr. Daniels.
Being on the solid waste director, I have not come up with a complete plan. I was hoping it would pass, but it appears the residents do not want the convenience we have. And, we've had this for 20 years, convenience centers, they go away, and that includes the city and everything. I mean, you don't have the convenience of bringing it up there no more. You don't have the convenience of the brush and the tires. The convenience centers will be shut down so many days a week, depending on how much money I end up with. We're already, right now, we're at about 20% increase since the first of the year. And we're working on last year's budget. Plus, we're the short of the money for the nursing home. I mean, we spent $1,000 a day on some tires. It's only going to last a few months. It's increased so much, and this gentleman, garbage is expensive to get rid of, and it's going to go up. I checked with the Waste Connections. A lot of people said, well, I can't, if I gotta pay $6 or $8, I better just have a loader dog. It's $45 a month I'm gonna pay, $1.8 million. And you have no convenience. You can take no roads, no boxes, no tier. You still have to take all that to go landfills. Then you're gonna pay $60 a ton there at Holland, Jackson, or Mississippi. No brush, no tire. They said, I want to warn you, we only pick up garbage and we only pick it up if it's in that container. And the best price I get is $45 a month. So y'all have chose to go this route. I mean, you're going to go back 15 years. Why don't you want to do that? I mean, y'all voting for the residents, so I'm assuming that's what the residents of this county want, right? I mean, y'all representing those districts, and you represent the people in the run. It's not y'all decision, you're making a decision of what the people, the majority of the people in this county want, right? I'm right.
I want to clarify when I vote no, Dan.
Do I?
I want to clarify that when I vote no, I'm not voting no against solid waste. I do believe we need to have it. My issue is with us constantly going to the taxpayers to pay for everything and to increase on everything instead of us doing our job as commissioners and looking at the entire budget. Our budget was, I've been on this commission for 3 terms. It's never gone down. We've never done budget cuts. Everybody sits there and tells me, yeah, we have, Joe, we haven't. When you take $5,000 or $10,000 out of a line item and you put $150,000 somewhere else, that's not a budget cut, folks. Are you kidding? Look at the budget that we've had every year. Look at that number. Has it ever stayed steady? Gone down a little bit? No. And it doesn't just go up a little bit. It's anywhere, it's 6 digits. It goes up $100,000 last year. How much was it? $310,000 in 1 year it went up. We reduced our general fund balance that we approved the budget. We reduced our general fund balance by $500,000 in 1 year. Tell me how that's doing a good job for the taxpayers.
Solid waste will never be.
You need solid waste. I absolutely agree.
Solid waste will be.
I couldn't agree with you more. Just like I know y'all are going to yell at me for doing this too. I'll agree. How many times I hear from everybody sitting up here and telling me you haven't told this to me in personal conversations? Well, Joe, sometimes you have to raise taxes. You can find it hard to believe, but I agree with that. Sometimes you do have to raise taxes. But again, this is my 3rd term. When you say the word sometimes, you're inferring that there's other times when you don't choose an alternate route. We've never done that, folks. We've had plenty of opportunity to do it. And we always lose our backbone, and we fall back and raise taxes, add money onto the registration fees, and now we want to add another fee, and we want to hire more people to enable us to do that. Barry, your opening prayer said we should be thinking about, we should do a good job with our neighbors, our family, our friends, our grandkids. If we're constantly raising our budget and not being fair and equitable to everybody, how is that being fair to our grandkids? Maybe y'all don't know people who live on fixed income who have to make choices all the time. I know people in my neighborhood, and I live in, I consider it to be a nice neighborhood, and I know people that are on fixed income. Am I the only person that's got a phone call, a letter, a discussion about this?
I have, but they asked that it be put on the property tax like we're talking about.
I have a question.
Yes,
So
sir.
you finished this COVID money to help them?
We was getting to that here in a few months. And that is one of the things I was going to explain, which he was in hopes that any amount would pass, that people would help. But yes, we can drain the county and be in shape like we was years ago. I was told about in 2 years in consecutive years they raised tax quite a bit, I think. 2 years straight in a row, because they didn't look to the future and go ahead and have a small fee or tax. They went and later had 2 big tax increases 2 years in a row. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but we're asking for a small amount for everyone that uses this. It isn't for just the taxpayers that own property, which that might be what it has to get to, but that's not fair. This solid waste is for the whole county, for all the people to use. It has been free for years. Nobody has had to pay anything. We've kept the taxes the same. I've been here 2 years, we've not increased anything that I know of. Now, he said, we have got mandated things that had to be, but we haven't increased taxes at all. And, years ago, I don't know what year it was, some of the commissioners might, I know y'all had 2 large tax increases one year, and the very next year you had another large tax increase. I don't want that to happen. That would be a burden on our property owners and the people that helps provide and pay most of the taxes now. And they won't use it no more than anybody else. I think we need to share the cost with everyone in the county that uses it. That's why I was for a solid waste fee. It wouldn't just be for the people that might be fortunate, worked harder and have more property, or somebody that rents a house and creates just as much garbage as another family, that have paid their share and pay the cost of everyone, and that we could survive. I'm not saying that that's no large amount, $8 or $6. They're only for that specific purpose. And I believe Dan Bernard does a great job out there. He uses the interest of our money well. He don't overpay his employees. I might tell you, they'll tell you that now. They use things wisely. I know we've got recycling. Recycling is a whole different category. We're setting on stuff and trying to make it to where we can stay alive in our recycling. And that is doing a good job. And it supports itself. I know everybody thinks in your own mind that the recycling, when things goes up, it could help our solid waste. But it is a whole different category. We want it to sustain. It has grants. The solid waste and recycling has got, I don't know, close to $5 million in grants that it has out there that it has to produce to keep the grants in line. We've got that, and our county has been awarded in grants, and we've done good, and our county has recycled some. We need to recycle more. We need more recycling to help offset the cost of our solid waste. That would help. But for going forward, and where our children won't have to be going down the side of the road picking up litter from everywhere, and just to help our neighbors and all, it's not much for a family to pay. Every county around has a solid waste fee, except us. We have been fortunate not to have one because we've had other income and been moved around our revenue to pay for it, where our citizens hadn't had to pay for it before. But we need to. Right now, we're to the point, we might find some money that we can cut. But I think our budget department has done a great job. They go through every one of them separately. And they've asked every office to cut what they can. And I know that the budget committee goes through each one of them every year. And we might have asked them to see if they could cut something. I know it's hard to, when a person might think the only thing they can cut is maybe some of their supplies. But I'm sorry.
Mayor, could we compromise at $7?
Sir?
Could we compromise at $7?
Well, would you like to make a motion to vote for $7? We've done had town meetings on this, and we had people to come, and we've asked everyone to come. We have discussed this topic for months. And I'm sorry, but if you wasn't at the town meetings, everything has been disclaimed, and I know parts of it has been put in the paper. But we need to solve this issue. And I know everyone, I don't want to get into another discussion of the same thing we've talked about the last 3 meetings we've had.
Right. I've done Jordan second this time.
We do need to solve, we have a motion on the floor for $7, and we have a second by Miss Diane Jordan. We do?
Yes.
Wasn't that what you said?
Yes. Second.
For $7 a month. So I would like to ask for that to be voted on. And if we got to have more discussion, we have had so many discussions, and I think everybody.
I think that's fair. The difference, I think that's fair.
That's very
Was y'all at our town meetings and stuff where we have discussed this in future? I don't know if Ms. Liz was or not.
I was there, and everything got tabled. We didn't get a chance to talk about it as much as we needed to.
We have been discussing it in depth for last 3 meetings. We had a town hall meeting and asked everyone to come, and it lasted about 2 hours. And it's still a topic's got talked to that didn't even pertain to the solid waste. It started talking about different things, and I want this to be voted on for solid waste.
This, $7, counting 7,900 homes, it'd be $84 a year, bringing in $663,600. Now, Daniel runs the place out there, but how did that get you by, Daniel, for how long? Do you have any idea?
You know, I was trying to ask, every county that I talked to, they said, go on the high side, and that's what we were doing. We were trying to do for the future. And it's hard to predict solid waste for the future. You really can't predict it. I can't predict it tomorrow. When I go out there, I know something's going to be wrong, I'm not sure why, but solid waste changes. So we tried to get high enough that, you know, not knowing how many households exactly, and not knowing we were going to let people, you don't have any house on your property, abuse of garbage, you know, take that off. We weren't sure if the trustee do it, how much it was going to cost there. That we would not have to come back and do this in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 5 years at all. So, you know, that's definitely, I think enough to take care of it.
And your tipping fee is $38 and change right now?
It is.
And your contract with them in January, you expect it to go up? The deal that you have with them for the next 5 years?
We're having a 5-year rollover if they continue that, or we can stop it, you know, and leave it out. But, every place every county I've talked to, that they're stuck with, you know, over $80, depending on where they are in the state. So, you know, I think in 5 years we'll probably be all right. But after that, it will increase. What a wish we have wore out truck out there class.
Yeah, I could ask you on that. These figures don't include the truck that we gotta have.
No, that's just a ticket fee. It doesn't include roads, convenience centers, or, you know, fuel, electricity.
That's $140,000 truck, right?
I mean, if you put all that in it, you're looking at between $95 to $100 a ton if you try to put everything in there.
Mr. Russell, quotes are coming back on the roll-off truck from $160,000 to $174,000 per roll-off.
Mr. Chairman, I got 2 points. I think there was some confusion about why the votes failed the first time. This is a resolution, it takes 2/3, it takes 12 yeas to pass it. Also, I will explain myself to y'all. Y'all know I support you. And we got to correct the problem somehow. But being a chairman of the committee, that's where I struggle. Whenever I come in here before this commission as the chairman of the budget committee, and I make a recommendation, just like you did tonight for the planning commission, I hope that my committee stands with me. I had to stand with the chairman of the committee tonight. That's why I voted no for the 8 and yes for the 6. We got a motion now, we'll see what happens with it. We've got to correct the problem, we cannot just put a Band-Aid on it.
That's correct. We have a motion for $7 by Ms. Sandra Hires, and we got a second by Ms. Diane Jordan. I'd like to ask for a vote with the commission.
I got a question. I'd like to address Mr. Phillips. Attorney.
Do what?
I'd like to talk to Marty.
Yes, sir.
Is this going to be going through the trustee's office? It will. Can a man go in the trustee's office and say, I'm here to pay my taxes? And Lance turned around and said, well, you got to pay your garbage fee first, solid waste fee first. And he said, you take that fee and stick it where the sun don't shine. I'm here to pay my taxes. Can he turn me down and not take my taxes? Does he have a right to turn me down, me being a citizen of the county, want to pay my taxes?
If the collection means is through the trustee's office, then if the commission votes to pass the solid waste fee, there also would have to be a private act adopted permitting collection to be done through the trustee's office. And if that private act is passed, then one will be required to pay that fee to the trustee's office as a private access.
Well, the Hardin County's got one.
That's right.
Have you looked at it?
I have.
You go right on down the line, it says assessed property, 25% down, money, how much everything. Then it gets right down next to the bottom, it says, the fee. In the very next line, it says total taxes due. That ain't tax, that's a fee.
I think the private act would address that issue if that's the way the commission votes to go.
I just want it down, I don't know, because there may be some people come in and do that. I ain't gonna do it, but if there's somebody come in and do it.
That would be second. Yes, sir, Mr. Penn.
Can I say something about that? The first place we went was Hardin County. And she claims they have was a 98% collection rate on that. With a private act. She never has anybody that says that. They come in, they pay the bottom, and that's it. So, and that's pretty good collection.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You normally don't even collect that much in the tax law. So. And they've been doing it for years.
Okay. I got where it says,
That's a private act, but I think you have to.
Once again, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Sandra Hires for $7 per month, and a second by Ms. Diane Jordan. Can we have a roll call, please?
Johnny Garner.
yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yeah.
Larry Blacktop.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
No.
Andrew Howard.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Dan Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Slade.
Yeah.
Jerry Emerson. Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Valero. No. Barry Smith. Yes. Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
16 and 2, 5 to 7.
Okay. To continue on with what Mr. Johnny asked.
Can I say something?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you all for your consideration and time in doing that. And sorry if I got a little out of order.
But we understand I need to be active.
Being that we have passed a amount for a solid waste fee, as our lawyer Marty stated, for the trustee to collect the fee, to have it on the statement with the tax, and the rest of them will have to be a separate tax. If someone doesn't have a tax, they will get a form sent to them. we need to make a motion that a private act be written, and we have to turn it into the state to allow the trustee to collect the fee. This being, that's really all it is. It's just a statement saying the trustee is allowed to collect the fee for the county, it being for the solid waste.
I make a motion, we do it the private act, so the trustee can put it on tax bill.
I second.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry Blackstock and a second by Ms. Carolyn Higgins to have a private act for the collection of the solid waste fee by the trustee. Any discussion?
Can I ask a question, Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, along with that private act, for it to go on the tax statement, do we need another private act, say, whatever percentage didn't pay, what we're gonna do with that property?
Well,
Will that be a separate one, or will that be included in that?
that might be a question for Mr. Martin.
Yeah, I think the private act will just address generally how the solid waste fee is to be collected, because the statute authorizes a utility company to collect it. But since it's something different than the statute authorizes, that's what the private act will address. The trustee's office can assess and collect the solid waste fee, and that's what it will accomplish.
So it would all be,
Again, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know we've got to pass a private act to do this, but can we pass a private act that we're not looking at tonight to see what it says? Are we passing something more?
Well, I think what you're doing is voting to do it. To do it, you have to see it.
Okay, it has to come back to us for final approval.
It's just being voted on for us to get the private act written. This is what we're going to do. We will write, we will present it, but we want to do it where it can get to the General Assembly in January or February where we can start the next.
We would have the private act before us at the next meeting to look at and approve.
Hopefully, we will have it written by November.
is there any other way to collect this money besides a private act legally?
No, counties are creatures of the legislature, so counties only have the authority granted to them by the legislature. And the statute permits you to impose a solid waste fee. It permits you to collect that through the utility company, but you don't have the authority to collect it through the trustee's office in the absence of the private act. So that's why to do it the way you're planning to, a private act would be required on the collection side.
I have a motion worded this for funsies here. Motion to approve private act for trustees to collect solid waste fee of $7 per household.
None of the other counties had an amount there. They just that the trustee put it on his statement.
Okay.
That's the way I was taught.
Solid waste fee.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
The private act will address the collection on the private commission has the authority to impose the fee on it.
Would the motion not be that we're authorizing the county attorney to drop the private act and bring it back to the next county commission meeting for approval? Would that not be what our motion should be?
Yes.
Are you making a motion?
Well, there's one on the floor, they have to amend it.
Okay. Let's vote.
The motion is on the floor for a private act to be written up for the trustee to be able to collect the solid waste fee. This way, I was told by the other counties, if you put an amount, if something ever happens, you want to go down on it, if you collect more or something, you have to redo your private act every time. So that's why I was told by other counties, you don't put an amount there. Because you have to wait for the General Assembly to meet again, and it might be a year later before you can ever get it back. Even if you want to go down. So if if we see that we're getting maybe a little excess, it will be up to the county commission, correct? Just to change the amount down. See, because this is only going for solid waste only. It's not going to fund anything else. So, we have a motion on the floor, I can't remember now who made it. Larry Blackstock,
Carol, take a second.
And Carol second.
What's the wording of that motion?
It says motion to approve private act for trustee to collect solid waste fee per household.
To approve private act.
To approve private act. For trustee to collect,
We can't approve it, it hasn't been written.
Well,
That's approving it for it to be written.
That's not what the motion says. That's not what the motion says.
just do a big suggestion.
Yes, sir.
They could offer a suggestion that might solve the problem. Maybe Commissioner Blackstock amends his motion to say to authorize the county attorney to draft a private act permitting the trustee to collect the solid waste fee. That ought to take care of it. If you want to say that motion.
I say my motion to do the word mark, just so you know.
Does that mean that we can bring it back before the next?
Yes.
And we'll have to vote on whatever is right.
That's right. You'll vote on what's actually drafted as a proposed private act after you have a chance to read and consider it.
You can't vote on it, but we need to speak.
Okay. We have a motion for our county attorney to make a draft, present to the commission, which will allow our trustee to put on the billing with the tax to be collected, the solid waste. We have a motion and a second by Ms. Carroll. This is no money, so all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nope.
What day we gotta have that tonight?
Going in. Roll call. Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Terry Love.
Yeah.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinney. Andrew Hoffman.
Yes.
Jackie Butler. Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clay. Jerry Emerson. Sandra Howard.
Yes.
Joseph Malaro. Barry Smith. Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander. John Wells. Todd Lewis. 17-1.
Thank you. To continue on with the agenda, next we have Commissioner Sandra Hires with the purchasing committee, which we have a bid for the sheriff's department on records and jail management system software. And also, that being one, the next one she will have will be the bidding for the asphalting in several areas. Ms. Sandra Hines.
Okay, we have one for software for the sheriff's office because it is becoming obsolete. And it's $200,342. Yes, and it will be paid by a grant. And software will also have maintenance for 5 years. The software and the maintenance for 5 years. then we have asphalt.
If you don't mind, Ms. Sandra, let's go ahead and vote on that one. Would the sheriff like to say anything about this?
Well, like the higher, we've had our software since we went to computers in '97, and it's songs at this point. It's a shared software management system, and they haven't directly told us that they won't have a business, but we're mandated by FBI, PBI, some updates, some changes, actually from the DA's office, and they're not updating anything. And it's told us flat out that we got one. So we're fixing to be totally out of compliance with all. So we don't, it's not like something we're doing just to upgrade. We will have to do something to be out of compliance sometime, you know, there. And like I said, it's the software itself is $101,000, $104,000. And the other part is the maintenance that goes with it, savings about $21,000 to do it all there. Paying maintenance every year. So if we do it now with this money, we don't know nothing for the next 5 years, all the upgrades to keep us in the compliance with this.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second her motion.
We have a recommendation from Ms. Sandra Harris from the person committee and a second by Mr. Tim Crowe. We'll need, since this is for money, we will need a roll call.
Johnny Garner. Yes. Jerry Love.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Malero.
Yes.
Barry Smith. Yes. Tim Crowe.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
18-4.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. Sandra.
Okay, the second one is from Redmond Asphalt Company in Selma. It's for $98,210. It's for 5 different areas in the county. At the health department, rescue and ambulance, at county offices, and the solid waste.
This bid for also all the area around the ambulance building and for the criminal justice center and for a new parking lot where the U-Haul was. This is all included there.
I'll second her motion.
We have a motion, a recommendation by Mr. Sandra Hires and a second by Mr. Tim Crowe. Since it's money again, need a roll call.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Malero.
Yes.
Barry Smith. Yes. Tim Crowe.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
18-4.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a request that would be for the high school 4-H members, but their conference has been canceled, so they're withdrawing their request at this time. So next on the agenda,
What about the other ones, please? The roof, the EMA.
that's what we, that's explaining what we used in the grant. Next, we have a recommendation. This is my recommendation. We had, Chief Fry had a tax sale on properties, and these 2 properties in the city wasn't voted on, and the county and the city purchased them. We have a tax deed. These 2 areas need cleaning up, and we have spoken with Southwest Development, has a program where they will come in and build a house on that and sell it, and this way we will get them back on the tax roll. we being partners with the city of Henderson, because both of these properties are in the city, we would be sharing the cost with them for this project. An estimated cost probably less than $5,000. We would clean the old condemned houses up and clean the area up for a house to be built on.
You gonna freeze the cost of $5,000,
I'm sure the cost shouldn't be more than that.
I make a motion for the cost.
I'm sure it is.
We have a motion to spend up to $5,000 on the two tax deed properties, cleaning them up for the Southwest Development to build a house on them, to sell and get back on our tax rolls. We have a second by Ms. Ann. This being from money, we also need a roll.
Before we do this,
Yes, any discussion? I'm sorry.
you might have to tell them where the property is located. I drove through there today, trying to find myself. And they're up next to the pipeline, not a very big lot. The old house look like small, but real bad shape. That's trying to bring the cost down to $5,000.
The two properties are very small properties, but both of them have really, I believe, a condemned house on them. I know one of them, there's no one living in them. I think,
I don't think anybody lives in it.
but Mayor King approached me that we could partner and clean them up and do this, and I thought this would be a good way to get them back on the tax roll and get some money back in, coming back to the county. Since no one wouldn't even bid on them the way they are now. So we have a motion and a second. Need a vote.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yeah.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Here.
Andrew Hall.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Here.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Blake.
Yeah.
Sandra Hires. Joseph Valera.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
18-4.
Next on the agenda, we have other business, and I know we're having a lengthy commission meeting, but I would like to go over these grants. There's quite a number of grants out here now, and not to get them mixed up with one that the governor's initiative grant, when it came out, and we worked on, I did for 6 months, we just approved some of what I've been working on for software and David. There's some other needs in the county, and Judy gave each commissioner a breakdown of one of the grants, of what possibly we could spend, and what we have left that we would have in county general, that we can help with the highway department if we need it, and help with solid waste if we need it. There will still be some money there, but this grant has to be used by April the 30th. So that being the case, we need to this is the governor's initiative grant, or the support grant that can be used. And then we have another one that's the Tennessee Counties grant, which we attended town hall meetings on and got the ways that we can use that. And these grants, there will be no match, but we have to draw up a draft and explain what the uses of that we would spend the money for. This happened to be an expense that was necessary because of the result of the COVID being a public health emergency. I've asked on a couple of these, and we was approved, or we was told that they would be approved for them. That being all our offices in the county to help get the air purified and pull the virus possibly out of it. We purchased the clean air machines for each office in the county to where possibly can keep our employees more healthy and elected officials healthier. This being to go through the CAMS grant now, not the government grant. And the second one also being for the iPads. I don't know if anyone has visited the nursing home lately. You cannot go in and visit. So we come up with the idea to, even though that we don't own it, it's a lot of our residents in there, and that we purchase iPads under this grant to where they can carry them into your loved one into their room, and you can be out front and see them and communicate with them that way. Them hasn't been purchased yet or anything, but I have asked about them, and through the CAMS Act, they said that would be counted as an expense that would be fully funded. So this grant has to be written up and showed use and get approved by November the 1st. Reason I'm mentioning this is before our next county commission meeting. So if y'all would, I'd appreciate it if you let me go ahead and write them up, and we go ahead and get approval of them, and before our next commission meeting. It won't be any money spent to it if they're approved, but I'd like to get them approved before we wouldn't be out of money. If we went on and purchased them and they wasn't approved, I'm not sure that everyone would go for it. So I would just like to ask the commission's approval to go ahead and apply for these grants.
On these iPads, probably one of the people inside there not going to be able to really use one. We also got some iPads and also got something like some walkie-talkies.
I think these iPads will have a speaker in them.
Be like FaceTime.
Yes, it will be like, I've got a picture of them, we got quotes on them, and we probably can get them for $250 a piece, which they're like I think it's a 10.2-inch iPad. So it's not small, but it ain't real big. That you could communicate with your loved one that's in the nursing home. And not them just... They say that as long as there is an email that can be used at the nursing home, and that it can still be used through the iPad, and it could be set up even later that you could possibly do it through your iPhone. Now, I don't know the specifics on that, I was just told that. But I would like to get the approval to go on and find out more and try to get this approved if it could be purchased with no cost to the county.
Well, I feel like what you're today, no more would mean probably more than the other all would be good.
Yes.
But do you need a motion on that?
Yes, I would like to get the approval of the commission.
I make a motion that we approve that we go ahead and get the iPad.
I'll second.
And the money, but it's not spent by us, we make it wrong.
What was the total cost?
Well, I more than one, for us to go ahead and purchase 18 now, and after conditions change and they might have in-person visit, that we could come back and use them here as a commission, and commission. That is a long time use, but that was a good property of the county. We'll be getting to the grant.
Maybe a reimbursement situation, and we may be spending money out front, so we're spending money where we work out.
Yes.
Johnny Goins.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yeah.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Alvin Kennedy. Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Malero.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
18-4.
I know this is still lengthy, but I still have a couple more things in the other. Upon the moving of the ambulance, the EMS service out here to our new facility, in the past couple of meetings, we purchased the old ambulance building, and we have got the deeds on them. Along since we have done and did good with the Jackson-Madison County General Hospital District, they have also deeded us the medical center building. That is, that we could possibly put it to use for the county. We have looked into the building. It is in very bad shape, but we have the deed. We want to check in on possibilities. Now, I'm just telling you something for the future. This is nothing that we have to do now, because this is nothing COVID related. But I appreciate the hospital district thanking us to that we could possibly in the future use that property. But we do, the city of Henderson asked us to clean it up. And we have done a little work there, like we trimmed the trees and with the gut. We need to make the area around it look better. If we can get maybe someone else to look in the building more, that either be redo that building or tear it down and possibly a new site of some other building there. But I would like to ask to get bids to clean it up if the building cannot be used or renovated as it is. This just getting bids, but I would try to have the bids back before our next county commission meeting. That's just a little information I would like for y'all to know. And also, speaking of remodeling, we have this house out back here. We want to, from the CARES, the Tennessee Support Grant, I would like to use $50,000 of that money for remodeling that house out there. Remodeling, maybe right now, it had some issues. We cut the floor out, we gutted the inside. Ralph has done that, and it needs to be rewired, replumbed, and resheet rock. The outside looks good, but under this grant, I haven't got any bids or anything. Ralph really wants to do it on his own. It might take a little longer than we need, so I think we can possibly get it done through this grant. Yes, sir.
How does that house work like that?
I don't know. That is something I can't get estimates on you, because we don't have to use that grant until, April the 30th. So, yes, that's what I was saying, that maximum, that, hopefully that could be what the cost is. Things have went up a lot, yes, Mr. Jim.
You do have contingency funds that you can use for that also. I just let you know. Other than that, you need to use them.
Okay. What we would like,
And the objective here is not to rent it out as rental property, again, it's using the county.
that's right, we was having a ground problem, that's the reason we had to really, the inside had to get tore out. And plan to redo it back in good shape.
We can get bids on these,
Yes.
but we don't have to spend the money until that drop dead day. What I would recommend that until we get this solid waste up on it, I think we need to do what's necessary to the medical building on the outside to meet the city spec and wait till we get this other set.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
All right. Just to put some other things out there that we're interested in, over the last year, I found a building, and I know the sheriff has had a lot of calls, and I have had a lot of calls, and I know it's a subject that is something that needs to be dealt with, but we have a building that could possibly be used for an animal shelter in the county. And I was approached by some ladies that said if the county could furnish them a building, they would take care of the animals and fund it and do fundraisers and take care of that, if the county would furnish them a building. We are in need of an animal shelter for the county. This is not in the city, but it is in the county. And I think I could make an offer on the building for less than $50,000. It's a pretty good sized building, and it's in an area that could be worked with for an animal shelter. That's something else to be thinking about. There is one thing I need to come back to. On the library board, we have a request to renew the appointments of the terms. The terms will end in 2022 for the library board. It is on your committee sheet, but we need to do it separately because it's the library board. Also, we have a request to appoint the new library board person for the first term being Ms. Rosemary McKnight. The other members to be renewed, appointed are Melinda Carroll, Larry Blumenberg, Sarah Noel, Gene Smith, Mike Alexander, and Tony Butler. We need to have a motion request.
I move we approve the library board.
We have a motion to approve, and we have a second by Johnny Brown. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's right, we have, going back to the end of the budget amendments, we have Ms. Judy with the county general.
These are just budget amendments that, what they've already gone over, that I do need to keep these in the minutes as being approved, so that we have the proper authority to transfer this money to the budget. The money for the $795,009 is already here, it's in the trustee's office. So I've got to make the minutes for the trustee.
Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to approve and second. Did everyone hear what that was? We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank y'all.
All right. Getting down to the next on the agenda, we have the notaries.
Yes, we have a few here. Jennifer Nicole Hancock, Anna Costello, Glenn Harris, Tasha Lee Patterson, Emma Mitchell, and Rita McCain.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the orders.
Second.
We have a motion by Johnny Garner and a second by Mr. Julie Lowe. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
I do have one more thing, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
See how this goes. Seems how we did regurgitate our discussion about solid waste in 4 meetings, including a special call meeting. I don't think it would be too out of order to make a motion, at least for the special call meeting, since we didn't make any decision that perhaps maybe we refund the taxpayers their money for that, for our meeting fee for that meeting. Since we didn't make a decision, we had 4 different meetings on the solid waste without making a decision, we have to take one. Taxpayers appreciate us giving a refund for having a meeting where we didn't make a decision. Just that we give up our pay for one meeting in which we didn't.
Oh, okay.
Since we didn't make it. Just about.
That is a suggestion. So, I entertain a motion for
Yeah.
we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?